to play plenty of sports, and where I was living in Ireland, we hadn't got much access to gyms until we were in our 20s. So the way I had a background, and my nickname was Fat Ray growing up, so I was called Fat Ray most of my life. I suffered with my weight and just accepted the person that I was growing up. And basically, I've been an addictive overeater for 20 years, which I only identified with 5 years ago. And I went through the 12 steps of recovery to identify them patterns. But my journey started in fitness at the age of, I would have joined boxing and many other places from the age of like 15 to 20. And we never really had much education around nutrition or things like that. So it was when I was 21, I done my first personal training course, and it lasted a year. And then I went on to do I actually done a fitness instructing course that lasted a year. It then took me 2 more further years to do a personal training course. Personal training was a hot topic when it came out in Dublin, and there wasn't much places educating or certifying people. So I went on and done that for about 2 to 3 years. And then when I'd done that, I continued to grow and study. For the last 8 years, I've competed in fitness modeling, I've competed in powerlifting, I've competed in CrossFit, I've competed in boxing. I have lived in Australia, Dublin, UK. I now live in Canada. I've travelled the whole world learning and educating myself for the last 8 to 10 years. And I still continue to learn now. Right now, the education that I'll be doing, I'm part of Guru Performance Institute, which is located in the UK, which is now a world-renowned institute for nutritionists to become practitioners, so we can actually apply the right nutrition education for individuals throughout the world. So my goal would be to end athlete suffering, and also to inspire others to find their inspiration through health, mindset, and becoming the best version of themselves through that. Mm-hmm. I believe that health is it's hard to have mindset without health. It's hard to have anything without health, because nutrition should be the number one gun, I think, in anything.
It really should be. I think, like, even with wealth, I mean, there's so many people that are watching this. So we're looking to build wealth. We're looking to invest. We're looking to grow our money. But you could grow your money to, you could have all the money in the world. But if you don't have your health, you really don't have anything. And I think most successful people really have, and wealthy people really have also a healthy mindset and, a healthy mentality. Who are some successful entrepreneurs and people that you have modeled through your health journey?
That's a great question. To be honest with you, I really appreciate every single person that I've met throughout my health journey. So it's hard to pick one person, because I believe everybody has something to offer you. So it was to pick out, like, that's a hard question, but I can't give you some advice. Like, people like started out with Alexander Thomas was a massive mentor to me in Australia. He's now the founder of Sports Nutrition Australia. He still coaches me today. I think Eric Cressy, there's just so many people. Bill Hartman I've learned from, Kelly Starrett, all these people have been a massive influence. I believe that I used to use them as role models. I would learn every single thing that I hoped that he could know. And there's so many, but that's a few names I could give you. In terms of nutrition, I think Precision Nutrition have given me a massive help and support throughout my career. I've done their level 1 and 2 courses over a 4-year period. It's big on like lifestyle and behavior change and keeping nutrition in a simple way, because what I realized in the last 10 years, you can have all the nutrition information, you can know all the science, because that may load the gun, but what pulls the trigger is lifestyle and behavior changes, and it's what we do on a day-to-day basis, through a 24-hour period, what dictates fat loss. And that's what I realized. In terms of mindset, I always think the psychotherapists that I've worked with for 2 to 3 years and doing group therapy were the massive influences, because that taught me how to master my emotions. It taught me how to master me. It taught me how to see actions and see my journey. And I think now, like, who the people that you'd look up to now and who you'd study off, and I'm sure many of you do. I study a lot from Dean Graziosi. I think he's amazing.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins is unbelievable, as you know.
And they all have a fabulous mindset. I think everything they go back to really has to do with control. But I love what you just said about how your diet and your nutrition, if you want to have control over your mindset, you have to have control over that. You've also said something really interesting in your intro. You identified yourself as an overeater. You had overeating issues. That hits me because, believe it or not, I'm an overeater. I know I'm small, but I describe myself, I'm naturally would probably be a pretty big girl if I ate the way I felt like eating. I'd probably be another 50 pounds heavier. I really have to watch myself to stay in the shape that I do. And this is something I've worked on for the past, 20 years. And it doesn't come naturally. I think you really kind of have to work on it. But one thing I really noticed about this overeating is I did identify myself as an overeater a couple years ago, where I would lose a lot of control in my diet when I started eating sugar. And so if I started eating sugar, all of a sudden I would have, I couldn't stop eating. It would trigger a need for something salty, like a bag of chips. And then I go back to ice cream, and I can go back and forth all day long. And it really kind of had effect on the way I'd handle situations, the way I'd handle things. It wasn't just a physical repercussion. It was more mental, where I'd actually, when you were an overeater, could you feel yourself actually having mood swings caused by the diet?
Not really, because the thing is, we sleepwalk through life, and until we diagnose ourselves and find out these flaws, like human beings, we're on autopilot all the time, so we don't really understand consciously, because we're working out the subconscious. So it's usually, I think, overeating comes from, do you ever hear, I've noticed that the human needs are designed in so many different ways. And the one, like, I think, so say example, Tony Robbins speaks about them in a different way: certainty, significance, love, connection, and I think growth, contribution, there's variety. So usually when these are missing in their lives, I think there's two hosts. Usually when these are missing in their lives, that becomes pain. You can't identify that pain. So what happens is it's anger. So sometimes, if, so say for example, you're missing love and connection, you're missing significance, you will find pleasure in food, and you will use food to suppress the needs of the human body. And it just becomes it's really difficult for people. And I actually really, really feel sorry for people, because also in the brain, we've got a neurochemical called dopamine. Now, dopamine is also beneficial for storing things. So what happens is, say for example, we went to the local cake shop in Toronto and we had a cake. So what happens is automatically you store the taste buds of that cake and everything in your brain. So every time you're even near close to that, you know where that cake is. So what happens is then you're just chasing that dopamine release. Now, you could be going around let's be honest, the majority of people now, including myself, we're always in a fight or flight mode, a sympathetic nervous system mode, right? So we're always we've been taught to be on defense, so we're always on defense. So how are we going to suppress them feelings? Because cortisol suppresses dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and all these great neurotransmitters. So you're going to overeat to suppress cortisol. Does that make sense? So we're always trying to chase a balance of sympathetic to be parasympathetic, because parasympathetic is such an amazing feeling. It's when you're at your happiest and your best on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, and I think I was getting that from food, because I think it all stems back like to your childhood too and stuff. I used to love eating potato chips, and I'm not like a little eat a few potato chips. I'm like right out of the bag and then on to this tub of ice cream with a spoon. And I think I remember, as it goes back to when you're a child and you have those days where you just watch TV and eat and you feel comfortable. Now fast forward, I'm 42 years old, I'm a mother of 4 kids, I'm an entrepreneur, I have a very, very extremely stressful lifestyle. And I think soon as the stress happens, I would reach for the food and start eating that to pacify myself. So I had to do something pretty drastic. And I'm wondering what you think about this. I actually made a choice to cut out sugar entirely from my diet. And I've actually held that for 2 years today. I don't have any added sugar. So I haven't had any soda. I haven't had any ice cream, any cookies, any cake, granola, chocolate, none of it. Not even sweetened things. And, you know, it was a really, really big decision because it really kind of made, you know, it forced me not to be able to go to those easy ways to soothe stress. And it really made me forced to deal with the problem at hand. But I can't tell you how much more in control I have felt since I made that decision. And I can honestly say now I can never see myself even being weak and eating that sugar, because I really could see it. One taste of it, I would go right back to being an overeater. So do you think making these hard decisions really is part of a successful, say, entrepreneur or someone who's looking to recreate their health journey? Like, would you equate that to Tony Robbins taking massive action?
Yeah, I think that's brilliant what you've done. Like, and in terms of that, like, I think you've already identified the problem and you found what's working for you. So that's beneficial to you, and I think you're aware of that now. Because awareness, I think, is the biggest part of change. Because you're aware of something, and the thing about sugar is, I don't want to get into a debate. I don't think sugar's not bad. What happens is it's hyper palatability. So what happens is there's hyper palatability and there's low palatability, and sometimes if we haven't got awareness of like this, like, so say for example, it's so easy to eat sugar and then chase.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hyper palatable. And what happens is it can come down to a host of issues, and it can come down to, like, so say for example, many people are like doing excess amount of training, they're in a low calories for a long time, they're in severe fat loss phase, and they're trying to make up the energy. What happens is they could just like go on and want to crave more and more and more foods. Whereas other foods are like a little bit lower palatability, which means they have a higher satiating effect, which means they keep you fuller for longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's harder to overeat them foods, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense, because I think a lot of those high caloric sugar foods are just empty calories, and your body doesn't have that, you know, that process where it could say, okay, you've had enough. Like, I could just go back and forth till I pretty much fall asleep. But you can't. It's a lot harder to eat a bag of apples than it is to eat a tub of ice cream, because the fiber in the apples will tell you, okay, you need to stop.
Without doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And it also comes around, like, sugar's just, the only thing is, like, just them foods are a little bit more hyper palatable, and they're just easier to overeat for a long period of time.
And I also heard that on these health and wellness journeys and stuff, that it really is, and I'm not saying anyone out here, everyone should give up sugar. I mean, a lot of people say, wow, you gave up sugar, I'm going to try it. And I tell them, do not. It's very hard. And it's not for everyone, because not everyone, maybe their problem isn't an overeater. You know, maybe their problem is just a different relationship problem with food. Or maybe it's also just with fitness. Now, I have heard that 80% like is diet, and only 20% of it really is the fitness, which in your professional opinion, do you believe that statement? Do you want to counter that statement? Or do you think fitness and diet are on par?
I definitely don't think that's true. 80% nutrition and then 20% training. I believe training done specifically to an individual can have a much higher impact, and it changes depending on where somebody's at. There's so much factors in it. I actually even done a slide on that. There's so much factors in it, like in terms of like energy expenditure can be anywhere from about 10 to 50% based on an individual of how many calories they can burn over time.
Can you switch to that slide? I'd love to see that slide.
I'll show you now how metabolism works. So realistically, let's have a little look at this. So what you were speaking about here was usually nutrition is broke down in a pyramid like this. Like, so energy balance is really important. So usually when you equate for that, then what you look into is like, how do we put stuff into energy balance? And that would be broke down into macronutrients, which would be like your protein, carbohydrates, alcohol, lipids. And then what happens is we need a thing called micronutrients, which are vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, and things like that on a day-to-day basis. Then usually, if you have all them factors in check, then like things like meal timing and supplements. But we usually start at the top of the pyramid and work down. What's the next best supplement I can get? Will I eat 6 times a day? Will I eat, when realistically, we need to start looking at this in reverse and looking at priorities. Mm-hmm. Now, then what happened is, I'm not going to go through that slide because I want to stay on the topic for you. So there's a really, really high topic. The hottest topic, I think, in the industry right now, and it's going to be, that I've been studying, a lot of us has, is REDS. Mm-hmm. And it's relative energy deficiency syndrome. What it is the energy demands of physical activity are not getting met by an individual. So say, for example, you're going out and you're doing loads of training and you're not controlling your nutrition. Mm-hmm. Well, over a period of time, that may not affect you right away. But these are the symptoms that we're seeing. People are getting depressed. People are losing their menstrual cycles in females. Performance is decreasing. Injuries is going up all the time. And to be honest with you, it's changing people's hormones. And it's like, for example, just getting back to the food so I can relate to this. Say, for example, like most people wouldn't be diagnosed with this, but the majority of us have it, and especially on low-calorie diets. So, meaning, say, for example, usually if somebody has got this, and we're going back to the sugar thing, usually what happens is you have a hormone called ghrelin, which is a hunger signaling hormone in your body, which increases when you're hungry, right? So usually when this occurs in an individual, they have elevated ghrelin levels. So what happens is usually they're just trying to make up the energy, and sugar is so easy to just keep consuming and consuming and consuming. Mm-hmm. So what I come back around to is that's just like diet. This is how I look at the whole holistic approach, right? So usually your resting metabolism is how much your brain, heart, liver, muscles, kidneys need on a day-to-day basis to function. Mm-hmm. So say, for example, everybody here was just lie in bed every day, right? You need a certain amount of energy to consume. Or if not, chances are you'd be just going back you'd be in this elevated.
Like, I'm looking at this. Can you go back to that slide again? The reds? But this, like, okay, and I know you're doing this as an example of people who are working out and they're not getting the proper nutrition. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, we could put this, like, this in the middle circle here where it says red. This is like your everyday person who is dealing with enormous stress. Just picture someone who's not working out at all and just eating whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Look how that accounts just to the everyday person. Forget people who are already working out, going through this. Look at this towards everyday people who are trying to deal with life, family, jobs, kids, and stress. And they're eating these foods, these processed foods. Our disease is higher than ever. Obesity is higher than ever. But they're also experiencing these mental factors, such as impaired judgment, such as decreased concentration, irritability. I was huge with irritability. Depression. I mean, depression is at an all-time high. And all these different things. And then, yes, all of this, you'll have your decreased glycogen stores, your decreased muscle strength. All that obviously is because in today's society, a lot of us are unfit mentally and physically. And we have a comment actually with someone actually already asking, Ray, you need to phone me, because she wants, Tracy, one of our members, she wants to know all about your program. And I know we're going to get into that. But this here is huge, Ray. Like, what you're doing is nothing short of amazing, because everyone to be successful, whether it's in wealth, in life, and anything, you have to be healthy, you have to be fit. I'm not saying we all need to look like Cindy Crawford. I'm saying that everyone has to be their best version of their personal self. And we have these decrease in energy levels that you're talking about. In reality, a lot of people joke about this 3 p.m. slump. is that really natural, Ray? Like, if a person's eating properly and exercising properly, should they even be tired, or is tiredness a cause of dehydration or poor? Should we be, like Tony Robbins says, operating in peak performance at all the time and being able to tap into the second wind, and that's where the true performance lasts?
Well, I think that, like, nobody realizes that, like, sometimes like glucose is the most important fuel for the brain, right? So usually when we're deficient, like think of the brain would probably need about, I think it's about 4 to 6, I don't really know the exact number, about 400 to 600 calories on a day-to-day basis, along with everything else, right? So what happens is, also as well, like, I think what you were saying there, I can sit there and talk about nutrition, but sometimes we don't even give ourselves a break. Like, how many people nap, take breaks, sleep an extra hour, chill out? Because, do you ever read Greg McKeown's book, The Essentialism? What I really like about that book, and I'm not trying to bring a book into this, is that when he speaks about the failures of entrepreneurs are the ones that sleep 6 hours and grow up with this mindset of, let's work. When if you sleep for 8 hours and you have naps and you meditate, you're going to be more productive, because there's a difference between being busy and productive.
Oh, yeah. We get into that a lot. Like, busyness, I think 90% of entrepreneurs' times is just, it's distraction. It's not production. It's distraction, for sure.
So what I think is that the dips in the day, usually, I think what gets rid of the dips, number one, control your nutrition, but like scheduling a nap if you're an entrepreneur, like making it essential in your life to slow down, rejuvenate the brain, like get your energy back. It is common to get energy dips throughout the day, and I also do genetic testing, and the genetic testing that I've got done in Australia, which I work on myself, it tells me that I need to slow down between the hours of like 2 and 4 o'clock every day. Now, I'm not saying that that's true, but you're after just saying that, and I actually do that. So I, regardless of how good my nutrition is, I do calm down and I do chill out a little bit.
I love that you said that, though, because I know there's all these different personality tests, these character tests. Are you a dolphin? Are you a lion? Are you whatever? And it really is related also to your sleep patterns. I find right now, like this morning, I just did a TRX class and I'm feeling amazing right now. But I hate TRX. I hate going. It's not my best fitness class. But, even before that, I was feeling lethargic. It was rainy. I was just a bit tired. We have a lot on the go, but it really kind of feel that mental clarity. Now, with the way my schedule kind of goes, I try to work out every day, but I do have to have an hour of mindset, like you said, meditation, get the blood moving, all this sort of stuff, reading for at least an hour before to get my day started. And then after that, I actually found that both Fawn and I are very, we do a lot of fitness. We have to actually schedule the fitness in our day. And if we do not schedule it, it really will not happen. So how many days should entrepreneurs, we need the sustained energy. Yes, if we need to rest, like I get 8.5 hours sleep every night, and I'm a morning person. I'm up at 5, but I go to bed very, very early, and I try to turn off my phone at 5:30 so I can get that mental clarity and have that family time, like you were saying. So how many days a week do you think like entrepreneurs should start? Let's pretend there's an entrepreneur out there listening and they haven't done anything. How many days of fitness should they schedule into their week that would really start making a difference in their lives in regards to energy and eliminating a lot of this depression, irritability, and all these negative factors from not being active?
That's a good question. So what I'd recommend is, the number one thing is, like, I think it's so important to have actual, like, to control, first assess your energy intake, right? So before doing excess amount of training, you need to find out like what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. There's loads of ways of doing this. Like, I'm not trying to bring in, like, so most clients I work with, it's either like I'd always get a 4-day food journal, whether it's through my fitness pal or whatever, because like the first thing I'm always looking for this. But like I can't promote that to people, but like this is where I'm always looking at. I'm always looking at, like, if you look at this slide, So I always look in for the next, where is it here? So what someone's consuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, right? The thing that's so overlooked and none of us look into, right? Is if you look at how the rest, I'm gonna get back to your question, but I just want to show you something before I answer, because I want to answer to the best of my ability for you. So when you actually, do you know, non-exercise metabolism dictates most of fat loss and expanding energy than actual exercise it can, right? Because realistically, like if you look at this chart, in the green here, we have exercise that expanding energy. And if you look at the next one is the rest of metabolism. Say, for example, this was in individuals. It was just studies done. And say, for example, at rest, they needed to consume like 18, 1900 calories. And then the rest of it was made up from like what they were expanding on a day-to-day basis through knee. Now, knee is measured through sitting, standing, chewing gum, fidgeting, stair climbing. All these things come into factor.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many people on a day-to-day basis are taking 10,000 steps to 15,000 a day? Because usually when the calories are low and they have these relative energy deficiency syndrome, nobody wants to move. Nobody wants to walk the shop. We make different conscious choices.
Mm-hmm.
We make the wrong choices sometimes. It really comes down to your energy intake. Because I think when energy intake, my opinion is when energy intake is good, you expand more energy through your non-exercise metabolism, not watching what you're doing on a day-to-day basis and not even being aware of it. So like the average individual could expand so much more energy through daily activities on an hour basis. So let me show you something. So for example, it really comes down to looking at them. I'm going to answer your question. So what I think someone should do on a day-to-day basis would be, I think resistance training is very, very beneficial for both females and males. I think like for entrepreneurs, I feel like some sort of like interval training once or twice a week. And the reason is because entrepreneurs were really, really busy individuals sometimes. And you can get the same outcome of like a 10 or 15 minute interval session as probably 60 minutes, but they both have benefits. It just depends on, number one, how much time someone has available and how many days they have to get done.
I think that people really need, like I said, to make time. People need to start scheduling health. Make it an appointment and you don't miss that appointment. Because if I worked out the times that I felt like working out, I would never go.
Yeah.
I like the after effects, but I went this morning like kicking and screaming. I do not look forward to that class. Like if I'm going to Zumba or tennis, I am so excited and I have the best time. But do I get my best workout there? Or if I do TRX, abs, and glutes training, core training, which I hate, cycling, like spin, hate it. But isn't that where I get the most results? You know, is when you make that effort, you work past it. And like you say, it takes you and gives you that energy after. So then that probably improves the resting heart rate and improves your mindset for really everything else.
Yeah. So I think it's exactly what you said. I think they all contribute and help each other. And then what happens is the more you are exercising, the more better the habits come in. Like you start to, like I think meditation is so beneficial as part of exercise too, and nobody looks at that in the exercise. We always look at the other stuff. Like I think my opinion is meditation is one of the most beneficial things you can do.
Absolutely. That improves your mindset and it really allows you to regroup and address life situations and really handle, especially entrepreneurs or people who are investing, be able to assess situations and make wise decisions, not irrational decisions, but wise decisions. Now, I know that you have this amazing, you're transformational body expert. You have amazing programs. I was wondering if we could pull up that slide where you show us how you have transformed people's lives and their bodies and what people can do if they just make that commitment to themselves, how we can go from this everyday normal person to really our best self. And I was looking at some of these transformations and I know it's amazing. And I have a challenge for you, Ray. because I want to hear about your program, but then I really want to get into also, before we knock off, I want to see your story as well. And like, because you actually were a product of your own story. So can you show us that before and after slide of all those male physiques and those female physiques, and walk us through some of these people?
I never got my own one because I don't really like showing myself to like in that way. Like I'd rather be more of it. I've learned to be a coach. I'd rather help others. That's being honest. So
it's true, but you know what? Remember our story too. We're wealth builders. We're financially free. We worked very hard to get where we are today. And the reason for our success is I'm not some armchair coach that sits there and just tells people what to do. We have been in the trenches. We went through that financial hell. We are self-made, created that wealth, built it ourselves. We know how people feel. We know the fear. We know the transition. We know what it takes. And that's when people can relate to us. And I love your story. Like, I'm looking at this girl here. Wow, that's incredible. The fact that you have actually been here and have been in that you know, that situation yourself, that really makes you're not just an actor. You could get in the minds of your clients. You know how your clients feel when they don't feel like working out, when they feel like they've been working extra hard, but they're not making any progress. I think that really is what makes you totally transformational, is your authenticity as someone who has lived this, breathed this, and, you know, done that yourself.
Yeah, I much appreciate that. So I'll take that one up now, I will, because basically what it is it was, sorry, I just had to get Facebook up. I appreciate them words too. Thanks very much for saying that.
Because those before and afters are absolutely fantastic, and it's great for people. I mean, the way you look now, like you said, as a fitness model, to look in this picturesque model form. I mean, some people, if they're born that way and that's all they've ever known, it's easier just to say to people, you know, you have to do this or that. But the fact that you've actually experienced the everyday person's experience, I think that is going to really make you an even better coach. Wow, look at these guys. Whew.
So what happened was, it's this one here. So what happened was, I came over to Toronto last year, and when I came over, I was after doing, there's nothing I can do about internet, but so what happened was, if you look at this in the life, so I was after competing, and like I was after being I was after hiring loads of coaches, and I wanted to learn lots of stuff. So I was after doing 3 or 4 fitness model competitions and 2 powerlifting competitions, and I took my body to this. I'd have the before picture of this, and it's on Instagram, but it just take me a bit to find it. I could get it. So what happened was, unfortunately, it was in about March. I was a week or two out of a powerlifting competition, and I was suffering with that relative energy deficiency syndrome that I showed you, but I wasn't aware, and that's how I started to learn more about it. So what happened was, I was doing a 1 rep max. My ego was taking over me in the gym, and I was doing a 1 rep max, and I went a little bit heavy, and I remember staying awake for about 24 hours that night, and I was in so much pain that I didn't sleep. So I went to a physiotherapist the next day, and he sort of fixed me, and I just noticed that I was never the same again after that. I was after getting injured. I never done the powerlifting me. My sleep was messed up for about 2 years. So what I done was, I came over to Toronto in May that year and June, and what happened was, I was living in hostels for about 4 months. I was working with physios, I was working with other people, and it was hard to get asleep in the hostel. So recovery was hard. So I used to have to take naps, 2 naps a day, to try and make up for it, like, which is difficult. And it's hard that then when what happens is, number one, right, you can't, with all that stuff I went through, look at the factors. Number one, you can't increase non-exercise metabolism, and you can't increase physical activity when you're injured.
Mm-hmm.
So chances are this body now has been so stressed for years of controlling and managing fat and all that. What happens is, you actually get a thing called body fat overshooting, which your body never wants to go back there ever again. So what it does is, it starts to gain fat because it wants to survive, right? So what happened was, I was after going through, and I was after being working with some trying to look for some videos over here, going through some programming. And about Christmas, what happened, I I eventually went all the way up to 93 kgs. It was one of the heaviest I ever was in my life, and it was difficult because like I was looking for personal training jobs, and I'm not judging, but Toronto is a superficial area. So when you go in, like it has this guy got a six pack is the mentality sometimes in fitness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like what does this person know? That's not a reflection on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one day and I looked at it and I said to myself, I says like, let's be honest, my standards have me where I am too. I can sit here and do self-pity, but it is the standards that I have every day. Because when you're not training and exercising and you, like I've been on holidays and you're spending time with people, and I know like it's great to eat foods with people, right? And that's one of the biggest things of social. But sometimes when you're not exercising and you're injured, then calories do start to increase and start storing fat.
Yeah.
So what happens is when fat increase happens, what happens is you get this reverse effect on hormones. So insulin becomes, I don't know about resistant, but it's not as sensitive as this picture here,
Mm-hmm.
where it's storing everything and it's metabolizing everything and things are not working properly. So what happened was in January that year, I says, I need to do something about this. And I was at this, so I had to change. Like I had rituals already, but I know my discipline was gone. I went a little bit into myself for a couple of
Mm-hmm.
months.
Yeah.
That's not being honest. So what happened is I says, how can I lose this in a realistic, sustainable, enjoyable manner?
Mm-hmm.
Factored in 3 holidays in a year, which I had to go on. And how can I so the number one thing is that nobody looks at, I may look great in that photo,
Mm-hmm.
but my recovery was crap. So I says to myself, there's what you can do and there's what you can recover from.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, I could easily go low calories here again, or like, but what's the recovery going to be? What's the overshoot again going to be? So I said to myself, I'm 93 kgs. Let's do 2 dieting phases, 2 maintenance phases, and 2 relaxation phases, and be realistic. So if we can lose 6 kgs or even 4 kgs in every fat loss phase, it's sustainable.
Yeah.
So what I done was I set it up, right? And I also coming back from injury. To be honest, I'm going to give a shout out because I think she deserves it. And it's not trying to promote her. There's a girl called Lisa Burnfield on Facebook. She's from Toronto. And she's probably the best. I've never met a physiotherapist like her in my whole life.
Is she your client?
No, she's my physio.
She's a physio. Oh my God. Okay.
Like when I go to her, she basically set the boundaries for me never to get injured again. So what happened was, if you look at this one, I then took it back down to, I sit at 78 kgs now. So I've lost 15 kgs in the last, say, I think it was about 12 to 13 or 14 months. And now I'm deciding to keep going at it. I'd like to get a pro card in fitness modeling so it can help everybody else. Not for the fact of me to look good, so I can end people suffering with this, what I went through, going through competitions. So what happened is, the benefits of this is I also sleep 8 hours now. I meditate for an hour or 2 a day. These are the benefits. I haven't got a bad relationship with food. That's the number one.
Yeah.
Look, sometimes, some days, like I have a net today, it's nearly 12 o'clock. It's not that I don't do fasting. I don't do any type of fasting or anything like that. I like to be productive during the day, and it's a half an hour to cook. It's a half an hour to clean.
Yeah.
It's an hour digesting things when I could be studying and getting things done. But like I don't think of food anymore, and the main thing is my relationships with other people is a lot more beneficial. There's a lot more positives from this picture than actually how it looks.
Well, I love this picture. I think you look amazing. And I look at the first picture where you look like a model, right? And you're right. There's a lot of people out there where looks can be very deceiving. And also, are you your authentic self when you're in this model picturesque state? If you're hungry and starving and you're working out tons for this and getting pains and injury, are you really your authentic self, or if all of your energy's towards this? This kind of reminds me of when we started off on our wealth building journey. We wanted to build wealth authentically for our family, but we really got off the rails. Anyone who's read our book, Real Estate Mistakes, knows that we were making more money than most people make in a lifetime. We were making, and we were living like rock stars, and it wasn't our authentic self. And on picture, it looked like, we were the Beckhams or something. But in reality, everything was kind of falling apart behind the scenes. And until we really identified that and really identified, a wealth productive system that allowed us to be our true authentic self, I don't think, and my true authentic self is really genuinely spending time with our family, genuinely spending time with one another and with our fitness, and creating a business where we could give back and help people, not just us being investors on our own and making tons of money, but really helping other people and teach them those skills. So I think that, like, this other picture, this recent picture of yourself, you look absolutely amazing, but more importantly, you would feel amazing. And until we live life on our terms and we're feeling amazing, I really don't think, we are being that authentic self.
Yeah.
And I think that picture that you showed of that girl for that your program that I want to hear about, this health program, and the one that we're trying to promote, she looks amazing too. I mean, you could see the physical changes. Like, look at that. Now, does she look like Cindy Crawford or Jennifer Lopez? No. But my answer to that is, who cares? Because you don't have to look like Jennifer Lopez.
The big one,
you have to feel like you're your own rock star. And she should. I hope this girl is really proud of herself.
Well, the thing is that it's not the transformation that does it for me with Megan. It's the fact that she's actually engaged now and she found the lover of her life. That's the big one for me. It's not when she came to me, she was after being on a chronic low vegan keto diet, which is not so it took me a long time to get things going with Megan. She had a lot of stuff going on. She couldn't lose fat. So for me to get her back into a position of like priming into fat burning mode, like it was really hard. She came to me on about 1,100 calories, and she was on about 50 grams of protein a day, and she wasn't consuming any animal products, which I'm not saying that you have to. Like, there's a way of doing vegetarian and there's a way of doing these things, but not just like cutting everything out, because your body gets deficiencies too. And then you get symptoms which affect you. So Megan then, like, I gotta give one credit to this girl. She does she's very consistent. Like, she would have everything on. I think it was because she actually got help, and that's not taking credit on my behalf. I think she actually got what people are missing in the industry is not information. They're not missing. They're missing true authenticity. They're missing love. They're missing connection, and they're missing someone to actually hold their hand and take them to their destination.
And that's what a good coach does. That's what you offer. That's what we offer as a wealth coach, and that's what you offer as a health coach.
I'm sure you know that you can go on. We can Google every. It's easy to get information now. So easy.
Everything for free.
Yeah, we get information for free, but like, it's how to put that into practice. She dropped 12 kgs then over a sustained period of time, and also eats a lot more food, which is the key. So it's losing more weight with more food, and that's the biggest fear in all of us now. We think we have to eat less and train more, when no, we need to meet her in the middle. And that's what happens. Like, we need to meet her in the middle.
Yeah, we need to start listening to our bodies too. I think a lot of people do this keto diet or whatever it's called, or these crazy diets where you eliminate all sorts of things, and then it doesn't sustain itself. I think it's our attitude towards food, and it's very hard to know that without a coach and an experienced person who has achieved that goal, and now you've experienced it yourself. So you're able to, hindsight's 2020, you're able to see where people are coming from, real people are coming from, and walk them through a program. Now, can you tell us a bit about your transformational program that you have and that you're offering? I understand. How many students are you looking for?
I take in 4. So what I've done I'm doing this for people in Toronto. So I recently just got rented out a new, like, brilliant gym, and what happens is I'm offering anybody that wants to come down and do like a free session where I would analyze. So basically my session does like this. So I'm going to go through this. I'll show you this now. So this is the metabolic health systems that I use, and this basically I shouldn't be using. I'm gonna log into my own, and the reason I'm gonna log into my own because this is private. I'm just gonna move this. So I just want to show you a little bit about what I do. So this is the metabolic health systems. So what it does is it actually assesses like it pre-qualifies and screens somebody for where they're at with nutrition. It's a screen to see, have we any disorders, have we any symptoms that's going to get in the way of getting some results. Therefore, when I know that that person is ready to lose fat or what's going on, we can provide them with the right information. Because the thing is, if we give people the wrong information, what can happen is I could give somebody something that could actually harm or kill them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, because it can't be, it's not like a one piece of advice fits all. I mean, everyone is very personalized and individualized, and what's good for one person totally could kill someone, could kill another person, or will not be as effective.
Yeah. So here's something that what we do. So if you look at this. This is track data. So what I do is I do skin folds on people. I just try to find out where that current body fat is. And then over a period of time, we're trying to decrease fat mass, which is fat on the body, trying to get someone into a healthy spot. So what I do is I measure someone's total daily energy expenditure, their rest of metabolism, their weight, the amount of workouts they're doing. I actually see where somebody's at in terms of nutrition, and then I see where someone's at in training. And then what I do is, like, during that training, so I do that online too. And then if it's an in-person training, what I do is I take someone through an activity session. I basically see, like, number one, have you any injuries holding you back? Are you moving correctly? Do like heart rate tests just to see what your fitness is like. And then I give someone feedback on, like, finding out exactly what your current reality is, creating a destination of where you want to go, and showing you the right roadmap to get you there. So how I do that is I came up with, after 12 to 15 years of, there's 12 to 15 years of studying, or there's 12 to 15 years experience. I have to study and experience, because the thing is, so what I done was that, how can I put all this together to get some results? What are the steps it takes to get some of the results? So step one, I believe, mindset. Will I show you a bit of my mindset, or is that alright? Have you got time?
Yeah, for sure.
So I believe that, like, I've came up with, and I'm always working on mindset, and then things like, it's like basically knowing, like, what someone's environment is like what's your environment like, and what someone's why. I know it's easy to say why, but every one of my clients that I work with, I know their why, and they'll never forget me. They say to me that they remember everything about me, because I actually dig deep on this, because I know once you know what, why, and how you're going to get to your goals, there's nothing going to stop you.
Yeah.
You have to have a purpose for what you're doing.
I've heard some, like, amazing whys when it comes to fitness, especially with people who are severely overweight and they can't play with their kids, or they just they don't feel comfortable in a swimsuit to jump in the pool, with their family, or they literally start to hate themselves and can't even look in mirrors. It's amazing how negative our mindset can be when it comes to fitness, and how it really can stop us. So I think, like, knowing each other, knowing why you're doing this is what we tell our wealth clients. Why are you doing this in the first place? Really makes it focused and kind of helps you more committed to that goal, for sure.
100%, because sometimes we never like to look at where we're at, and we try to block it off.
Or we tell us our stories. What about all those women out there? Oh, my body was better before I had kids, or, oh, I have an injury and I can't get over it. I think a lot of these stories, the stories that we tell ourselves, often we are our own worst enemy, and it really kind of stops us from moving stories. Like, my why is, I don't want to be a story. I'm determined to live my best life. When I'm 55, I want to look like Jennifer Lopez. Like, that's who I want to look up to. I think when you pick that role model and you pick something that you want to strive towards, I think that really, really is important. And I think it taps into all these needs that you have on this screen here as well.
Yeah, I think the I think the human needs, like, it's easy to look at these in a seminar and that, but actually go study this, go experience this, go see these in individuals. Like, I've been in group therapy for years, and I've watched human interaction and how people are missing this. So the thing is, what like when you say what do I offer with my program, is it like, it's like even just getting mindset right. Step 2 then is getting a foundation in nutrition. Step 3, a foundation in exercise. Step 4, clarity. And I'm not talking clarity in the word clarity. I'm talking clear outcome of where you're going, how you're going to get there, like rewinding all the stuff. I spend more time rewinding all the conflicting information that we've been learned over the years. So the less time we have to do that, the more time we're working on action. Because it's all just reactive mindset, and it's like it's just all stored in the subconscious, what we've been taught. This supplement, this fancy herb, this fancy thing, all this type of stuff. It just doesn't make sense.
Magic pill, so I can eat as much as I want, but I'll still lose weight.
It just doesn't make sense from a fat loss standpoint, and that's being honest. And that's not begrudging anyone that does that. It really doesn't. It probably makes a 2% difference when everything else is in check.
And it's frustrating also for you as a trainer to like be inundated with all of this stuff when you know the truth. You know what it takes: hard work, perseverance, and commitment and dedication. Just like wealth building. We're here, we work very hard. You can be done, but it's hard work. And meanwhile, there's an expert on the radio. Oh, get rich quick. We could make $1 million in 1 month, and all these folks and mirrors. I guess that could be very similar to the so-called magic pill, or these keto diets, or these quick fix to give people, but it's really not true. I guess you're very committed to probably spreading that truth and really showing people how they can realistically, reach these goals and attain this level of fitness in their lives.
I'd agree with that, like, to an extent, but I don't really get caught up in any of that. I really try to focus on me and the people that I work with and the people I'm surrounded with. I'm really, really in a great group of learning with great individuals right now. And I don't really get caught, because conflict costs energy. I'd rather use my energy to help somebody else. So the most powerful thing that you can use, and I can tell you now, the most powerful thing is love. Nobody can defend love, and I can tell you that now. And I'm on about, when you're caught in conflict, use love, and there's no one that can defend that, because it's the most powerful energy around, whether you like it or not. Like, whether you get it in different ways, like, but like when you actually use that and authenticity and these stuff, compassion and empathy, it's just like, I don't really get caught in all of that, because I haven't got time. I'd rather put that time into focusing on what's relevant to other individuals, focusing on probably action. I'm more about focusing on action, and I don't want to be going around, to be honest with you, I don't really like going around with judgment either. I don't like judging other people. I try not to do that. I know it's hard to do, because it gives me a position of superiority, and I feel that superiority is one of the biggest setbacks in succeeding in anything. I think the more inferiority we are, the more we have an open mind, and the mind is not closed.
Or more of like the more non-judgment. You don't want to feel inferior, but I think if you feel superior, you're coming from a place of judgment. So inferiority or superiority would both be coming from a place where you're judging yourself to someone else's standards. When you come from a place of love, it's very neutral, and it's all based on creating wins and personal growth. I think it's non-judgment and non-attachment. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. And I think true growth comes from that point of love and, that neutral point, because I think it's only positivity. Positivity can only grow where it is just love. I think these other judgments and superiority and these points of conflict really poison that, and that's where people kind of end up going wrong too. So I love the fact that yes, that your whole platform is based on that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So tell us, like, what if like one of these 4 people, like, who are they? What are they going to go through? How do they work with you? Let's close with seeing what you can help people accomplish, and people, because we got some pretty like go-getters here that we work with, you know, and I'm on a quest to help people build wealth and live their best life. And I'm sure you're on a quest to help people live their best life through health. So I love this combination we have going here. And, you know, what is it you're trying to achieve here? And what are you going to do for these 4 people? Because I know Tracy already logged off, but she gave you her phone number. She wants you to call her because she doesn't even know there's an offer. But she knew that she wanted to work with you after seeing this.
Thanks very much for that. So basically what I try to give somebody is, so going back to the steps: mindset, foundation on nutrition, exercise, then getting pure clarity, and then just creating a game plan on where you're going to go. Like, it really comes down to time, like how much time has somebody got? Because like, I got a question all the time is, I want to look like this in 6 weeks. I want to look like this in 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 18 weeks. So dependent, the pressure, like sometimes that's someone putting pressure towards me. So that means that there's different consequences and different tactics to get somebody somewhere in 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on how time is number one. And then like, that's going to come down to the game plan. Then the game plan will be like just committing to like progression on a week-to-week basis. Let's be honest, right? Say for example, you wanted fat loss as your goal, right? Mm-hmm. Why not lose 1 pound a week rather than 20 pound, right? Watch this, like 20 pound, and want to lose all this weight when, like, look at the rebound. Like, if you look at this, look at a pre-diet, look at the fat cells in a pre-diet here. Look at post-diet, they shrink, we lose weight. But look at the relapse as soon as you start eating again. Mm-hmm. Look at how bigger. And then what happens is, usually fat cells, there's one thing in your body that can't stop growing, that's fat cells. So in part of what you're saying is, so then when I get someone through a progression and then they get results, I'd like to do a maintenance phase where I can maintain the results that they get. So therefore, we maintain everything, we get them back into a good position of like how their life is, better eating behaviors, good training, recovery, all the important factors. And then I just expect, if possible, depending on them, I'd like to, if they can share a testimonial with others about me, because I believe anybody else can gain from this with help. And then the next one is, usually the next step where I do with somebody is just future goals. Mm-hmm. Because the goals, like the more better you becoming yourself, the more, it's like, do you ever see fear and you overcome fear, and it's like going over a mountain and then you see it's so much more clearer. So usually when someone goes through a fat loss phase, like, I've seen people that became trainers. I know people that, I've worked with people that like found what they want to do in careers, purpose after fat loss phases. So things change. And I'd be telling you a lie for what happens on step 8. That's being honest. Step 8, where do you want to go in life? Mm-hmm. Where do you want to go? Like, you might want to get married. You might be dating the fella that you always wanted. You might be dating the girl you always wanted. You don't know. You might want to be a teacher. You'll definitely find out. You might find your purpose, because I found my purpose after 7 years of meditation. I thought I'd never find it, but I do find it. And believe me, it's fulfilling every day. It's energetic, and it comes with a state when you find that you don't really care about food. You don't care about anything. You just want to have energy every day.
Mm-hmm. I think energy is so important. Like feeling good. Like, yeah, you could be starving yourself and you look great in a bikini, but if you're feeling weak, you're feeling irritable, you're not happy, is that success? And I don't think so. I think I always tell, I have the mother of 4 kids, and my youngest is a daughter, and I want her to grow up with a great body image. So us women, we often hate our bodies, or at least I know what that feels like. And today I just feel fantastic. You feel confident and strong and fit. And I haven't felt that way until I really put fitness on the forefront and made it a part of my everyday life. And whenever I point out women to my daughter, I always, rather than focus on skinny or, looking great or their parts that men often admire, any of that, I always focus on strength, energy, and and fitness. She's strong. Look at her muscles. Look how strong she is. Look how alive. Look how high she can jump. Look how much she can lift. I think we need to start affiliating kind of those concepts. And it really comes back to, wow, look at her. Doesn't she look like she feels great? I think a lot of people often hide behind that too and say, oh, well, I'm overweight, but it's okay. I'd rather eat and be happy. Are you happy if you're lethargic, if you're not energetic, if you're not truly being your best self and setting goals for yourself? How happy really are you? And so I love the fact that you have this. I love the fact that you have a maintenance program after, because I really operate under the premise that everyone should have different coaches in their life. They should have a wealth coach. They should have, a fitness coach. I have a tennis coach. And through the coaching, this is someone who holds you accountable and really holds your hand and gets you from point A to B, but then also helps you get to those extra levels as well and make sure you continue to be your best and authentic self. So I love this coaching plan. How do people find you, and how could they sign up for this awesome plan?
So the thing is, basically, I used to use so much platforms, and just tell you a little bit about that. I think Facebook is a website right now, so we just use Facebook.
Can you pull up that Facebook post that you just had this morning? I was trying to get that up there too, and I think it talks a little bit about what you're looking for and what you did. I was going to actually share that with everyone too, for people. Oh yeah, I love this. And this is for May, because we are May 2nd now. So
yes,
we need to get started. 4 people, both men and women, that are looking to lose fat, willing to invest in their health and fitness, new transformation. So anyone who wants to do this, they should be clicking on this link here, this raymckennafitness.com.
Yes, or also, sometimes I like to do like an audio call and see, like, actually, can I help someone first? Like, can I help you? And then if we can help someone, then I'd probably invite them to do that. But if somebody wanted to just go ahead and look for me, then just click in here and book in a consultation, and I could do a call and see are we a good fit together, and see is what I have a good fit for them.
I love this. Can you scroll down so we can see some of these photos again? Because I just think these photos are so fantastic. I mean, these people, look at that. Look at this transformation. I mean, this is just, I hope these people, if they're watching this, you guys are really proud of yourself. You're true winners. You have pushed your body, but you did it in a healthy way, and you really kind of taken your body from an ordinary to extraordinary. Like, look at this girl here. I mean, look at this girl. Wow, she should be a fitness model at this point. This is absolutely incredible. Obviously, what you've done and what you achieved, when you can actually see the physical difference, these befores and afters, that is truly, truly amazing. Ray, you have an amazing program. I can't thank you enough for spending this hour with us on this Lunchtime Wealth webinar. And I hope all the people who are watching this, we will be sending out the replay to people who weren't able to make it, to sign up for this. And I bet you're going to go through these 4 people so fast. You're going to do another one soon, right? You're going to get these people to their ideal bodies and get ready for the next intake. Because I think what you're doing is truly exceptional, and I thank you so much for your time.
Thanks very much for having me, and thanks everybody for inviting me on. I appreciate it. If you ever have any questions regards to fitness or anything in any way that we can help, I'll happily help. And that's
I love that. And they can tag him on Facebook. Make him your Facebook friend. I am his Facebook friend. I'm getting all these amazing quotes, inspiration, following up for the challenge. I love it.
When you were growing up, like, sometimes we're told never to talk to strangers, sometimes that carries over for the rest of your life. So when someone like me, I'd approach anyone. I'm a very approachable person. Add me or text me, feel free, because I'll respond to the best of my ability to you.
Yeah, anyone watching, take advantage. This guy is the real deal, and he genuinely, like at Real Property Investments, he has a passion, purpose-filled business. He's done this. He's seen how it's changed his life. He's determined to go in there and use his talents and use his methodologies to help change and transform the lives of others. Ray, I can't thank you enough for your time.
Thank you.
And anyone else who is out there watching, make sure you join us next Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Lunchtime Wealth webinar. Thank you, Ray, and thanks everyone else. I hope everyone has a fantastic day.
Thank you very much, Monica. Speak soon.
Thanks, everyone.